I'm joined by my good friend out there in LA, Mr. Edward Kim. How's it going?
How's it going? Hey, Rich. Happy Monday.
Oh my gosh, happy Monday, man. Congrats on securing another offer for you. So, like,
Thank you.
I wanted to learn a little bit more about your background and how did you how did you approach this job hunt? What were your biggest challenges?
Yeah, definitely. So obviously my background, I'm been a product manager for a couple of years, so around like 5 to 6 years. Been working at some startups as well as MasterCard and Zillow. But yeah, I decided to leave back in November and decided to join take a little break. But join the job market for 2024. But little did I know how hard it was going to be. And so I think like being a PM in this industry, I've been pretty familiar with how recruiting works. And so, I've been kind of in that grind of, pushing out a lot of applications, doing a lot of interviews, and then obviously, getting the offer. But this time around in 2024, it was a lot different when I joined. And so that's where I had to kind of change my approach. Came across your webinar, and then obviously came across your program. And that's where really helped me find a new job within 3 minutes. I mean, sorry, 3 minutes, 3 months. Yeah.
That would have been a record. I think our record right now is like I think less than 15 days. Uh,
Wow.
yeah. But that was a very outlier situation. I would say that's not the typical.
Yeah.
Um, what like how many interviews were you averaging before and after you were working with Product Gym?
Yeah, so that's where my approach kind of changed. So in the beginning, when I was starting out in like December, I was only pushing out maybe like 1 to 2 interviews, maybe one every other week, right? I did go with like a couple like final rounds that didn't work out, but once I went to PG, that's where it really kicked off, and I went from maybe 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 interviews per week down, and then hit my peak at around 10 to 15 interviews per week. I interviewed with over 100 companies. Sorry. Oh, I did over 100 interviews with over 50 companies, and then did around maybe 5 to 6 final rounds, and then ended up getting 2 offers. And so, yeah, it's been a grind. But definitely, like things definitely changed when I joined Product Gym, just because the market's different and I had to adapt. And so I had to change my approach in interviewing.
What would you say was like the biggest takeaway, like the biggest like change in your strategy after you started working with us?
Yeah, good question. So I think the biggest change in strategy was output. I think it was and as well as I would say utilizing the community, right, and being proactive. So there's kind of 3 steps. So I think like there's 2 things. When I before I was in the market, I kind of had this ego, right? I thought like I thought I would get a job pretty quickly. But then obviously got super humbled by the market and then went through this emotion of like that's where I need to change. And that's, after I got humbled, that's when the grind started, right? And that's where you started pumping out results. Now, secondly, I would say when I joined PG, what changed was in the beginning, there's a good foundation of PG and the coaches there kind of providing baseline answers on how to interview and how to approach your, I would say, application process. But secondly, the second phase is really the mocking and the access to the community. Now, that was like the biggest aspect that I really took advantage of. And I would say anyone that joins really needs to be proactive, is reaching out to other folks that are, interviewing, mocking, and then constantly refining your skill set every single week. Yeah.
How many mocks were you doing like a week?
Oh man. So on top of interviews and on top of applying and on top of, asking for referrals and reach outs, I was mocking every other day. So maybe what, like 4 to 5 mocks, 1 to 2 hours per session per week. So it was a full-time job. I took it very seriously. And so that's the thing, right? Like I had a goal of getting a new job within 3 to 4 months, right? I set a specific goal for that. And so I really made sure that I was putting in the input so I can get that type of output that I wanted.
No, the craziest thing is like a lot of people obviously I don't think a topic that people touch upon enough is like mental health
Yeah.
and when you are dealing with such a brutal market and you are income insecure right now, like nothing's coming in, right? And everything's gotten more expensive. Oh, how were you able to go ahead and like keep yourself like mentally sane? Because when you're on the interview, you are effectively putting on a show. How were you able to go ahead and stay present, stay focused on the interviews?
Yeah, so great question. I think out of all of this, this entire experience of like, putting in the grind, putting in the work for interviewing and, applying, the biggest challenge is the emotional and mental battle, right? You're going to get rejected constantly, almost every other day and every other week, right? So keeping that mental sanity is a big part of you. Performing well in the interviews. And so what I did was honestly, I trained for the marathon. And so running was my escape to kind of get me, I would say mentally stable during this process. But it's always important to find something on the side, and running was that was running for me. So yeah, that's what I was doing.
Would you, I mean, looking back at everything that you've gone through with the program, I mean, obviously a lot of people would be pretty skeptical. Would you recommend the product and program to other people?
Oh yeah, absolutely. No brainer. Definitely recommend this program to anyone joining, whether you're transitioning into PM or if you're already a tenured PM looking into, look for a new job in this market, right? I think, yeah, if you just put in the grind, if you try to improve every single day, I think PG really provides I would say, the community and the resources for you to do that. But you have to be proactive about it. So.
100% fam. Yo, I'm so proud of how focused you were in the whole program, and I'm so proud to see the offers that you were able to grab, and just ultimately like you really put out the I think you really put out the work to be able to secure the job at the company that you really wanted.
Yep.
So I can't honestly, I can't wait to see you again in LA in person and see where your career takes you to next, man. Very,
Yeah.
very excited for you.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks so much, Rich. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Dude, I'll see you soon. All right. Thank you for taking your
Yeah.
time to do this as well.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks, Rich. Bye.